Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to For the Love of Details on this Monday night. Thank you all for being here. And if you are catching this later, thank you for watching. Just a quick note, Garage Therapy, 20% off right now at the House of Rags. We also have Quivers, 2 new products that just dropped, Whitewater and Seal. Use code Chris10 to save you 10% off your order. Link in the description below. All right, guys. So literally, let's think about this here. Most people do not wake up one day expecting to take over a company that's been around for nearly a century. And even fewer people do it as a woman in the automotive industry. Today's guest, Deanna Wimmer, president of HiLustre Automotive Appearance Products out of Los Angeles, is here with us. And her journey did not begin with a master plan to become president. It started by helping out her family business, learning from her father, and then eventually being asked a question that would change the trajectory of her life. So today we are talking about leadership and legacy and what it is like carrying a 95-year-old automotive brand into the future. So let's go ahead and bring her on in, everybody. Welcome, Deanna. Hi, how are you?
I am good. That was such a good intro. Thank you.
No, thank you. As you can tell, there are already people in the chat who are so excited to hear from you. I am so excited to hear from you. And we were talking a little bit backstage. 95-year-old company now in your hands as president, and a woman at that. And maybe that shouldn't be a big deal, but it really is in this automotive industry. There's just not enough of us. So excited to talk to you and kind of hear all about what is going on at HiLustre Automotive now that you are in charge. So if you don't mind, let's take it back from the beginning. Let's go back to high school. What was it like growing up around HiLustre?
So my dad, it was his like thing. HiLustre was his baby. He spent the last 50 years doing it. So when I was growing up, I have so many little stories and funny things. So when I was preparing for this, one of the things I remembered just thinking about it was coming home from school one day and he was making a new product and he had like 3 versions of it on the computer and he was having me and my mom pick which one was our favorite label. So he always kind of like involved me and stuff like that. So it was very fun to experience that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you were obviously around the business a lot. Was it because you had to be? Was it because you wanted to be? Was it just because it was something your dad did? How did that unfold, you know?
I think mainly just because it was something my dad did. So a lot of summers I would come to work with him since I wasn't in school and I would be like reading books in the warehouse on the racks. Like, I would climb up them and read books up there and he'd be like, "What are you doing? Get off." But I would just be around all the time and he would take me to vendor meetings and he would have a lot of people over for dinner. So I kind of like knew a lot of people that he was working with. So I think I was just kind of involved because it just kind of happened that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. My dad, I grew up around farming. And so I grew up, driving forklifts actually at like 8 years old. So I can imagine you climbing, all over the shelves and things. But did you ever think to yourself, even at a young age, like I'm going to own or be the president of this company one day? Did that ever cross your mind?
So funny because my dad brought this up the other day. He was like, "Do you remember when you were like 5 and you told me that you were gonna run HiLustre for me one day?" And I was like, Yes, I do actually. That was something I told him, but my main thing growing up was gymnastics. So I was a competitive gymnast for like 10 years, and that was like always my thing. So I guess I kind of was more involved with it when I was younger and then fell away for gymnastics, and then just when I graduated high school it just happened like that.
Yeah. So there was, I mean, besides gymnastics, then you never really had any other career path you were interested
No,
in?
none. It was gymnastics, and then I stopped doing that sophomore year of high school. So I just spent the other 2 years, being a normal kid because gymnastics is not a normal upbringing at all. Yeah, it was just normal for the rest of high school. And then I graduated in 2020. And since everything was on Zoom, um, I wasn't really doing much school. So he was like, "Oh, you should come work with me." And I was like, "Okay, like I guess like that's fine. Like I'm down to do that to help out." And then after a few months, he was just kind of like, I kind of want to retire. Why don't, you come like actually do this? And, it just went from there.
Yeah. You know, so I have to laugh at myself here because as she just mentioned, she graduated college in
High school.
20 or high school.
Yes.
Wait, in 2020, right? Yes.
2020. So COVID.
2020. Okay. So when we were in, back and forth on Instagram, for some reason, when she said 2020, my mind went to 2000. I like skipped that extra two in there, right? Yes, I just aged myself. I graduated high school in 2000. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, we graduated, high school at the same time. And then I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, damn, she looks good. Like I need to ask her what her beauty regimen is because this girl looks young, right? And she's looking at my social media, understanding that I have older kids. And so she's like, dude, when did this girl start having kids? So really funny. Anyway, that was my bad. My eyes, yeah. With the age, they must not be
That's probably the funniest misunderstanding ever.
it was. And we really didn't, or I didn't really understand. It was a misunderstanding till I asked, like, oh my gosh, right when we got on, we graduated at the same time, 2000. She was like, 2020. Like, yeah. Yeah. And here we go. People already telling me I'm old. I know.
Oh,
okay.
no.
I know. Okay. So going back, so your dad literally just out of the blue kind of, right, is like, do you want to take over the business? What is your immediate reaction?
So at that time, I was doing pretty much the business part time because I was also um, doing like online college. I had just started like online college, so it was that transition of like online high school to online college, and so I was doing it part time. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, like." What do you think about doing this full time? So I like thought about it and I was like, well, I don't see like the harm in it. Like I'm down to just like try it and see how it goes, but it was more gradual of like that actual decision for me to take over. That part of it was a lot more gradual, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Did you understand? I mean, so it sounds like you agreed without hesitation. Like,
Yeah.
you were good with it. But did you understand the magnitude of what
No,
you were agreeing to?
not one
So,
bit. No.
so let's talk about that. I mean, has there been a moment, that you have thought to yourself, what did I get myself into? What has it
Yeah.
been like since that initial question was asked? Because again, I'm sure you
Mhm.
are learning things now that you probably didn't know or expect to happen. So let's kind of talk about what
Yeah.
running this business is like.
Yeah, there's so many aspects to it. For one, there's the like bookkeeping, the basic administrative stuff, processing customer invoices, and then there's like the whole formulation side and learning about all the different chemicals. Um, we have so many chemicals that we use, so it's like what does each one even do? And learning about the different formulas, I think that was the biggest learning curve for me because there is so much to the chemistry. And I think that was the piece where I was like, oh gosh, like, am I like smart enough to learn how to do this? Like, because the chemistry of it all was really intimidating at first.
And I mean, obviously your dad knows these things. So is it something that he just taught to you recently, or has he kind of shown you how to mix these chemicals throughout your life? I mean, how did that kind of evolve?
Yeah. So the first time that I actually went into our production room and made products myself with like my own hands, it was at some point in 2020 or 2021 where everything was shut down because of COVID. So there was a period of, I think, 2 weeks that our employees couldn't come in, but we still had customers wanting to pick up orders. So I had to make some stuff. And we have like our batch sheets, and he walks me through how to make like 5 or 6 different products, and we did it together, pouring in all this stuff into the tanks. And that was my first experience hands-on with the chemistry, and also actually physically making the products.
Yeah. So then, question, and this might sound silly, but I mean, the whole chemistry point, that is something, and I've said this before, it's so intriguing to me. So the fact that you're able to kind of learn this hands-on, I think is pretty incredible. So, excuse me, I don't know what just happened here. My computer did something super funny. Anyway, I apologize. This company is 95 years old, and so it's been in the family. Was it started by like great grandfather's uncles, or did your dad buy into this? Can you kind of explain that aspect of it?
That's a good question. So my great great uncle started the company in 1930 in his garage. So he was over here in LA. I think his house was like in Pasadena. But that's where it actually started. And his name was Uncle Doc, so that's like his nickname that everybody called him by. He was originally an oil salesman that also just really liked cars and really liked chemistry. So he just kind of blended all of his passions into making products for cars. And at that time, my grandfather, and then obviously my dad and his whole family, was living in Nebraska at the time. And Uncle Doc asked them, like, oh, can you, specifically my grandfather, can you come move to LA and help me with the business? So they moved from Nebraska to LA to help him with the business, and it just went from there. So my grandfather took it over from Uncle Doc eventually, and then my dad took it over from my grandfather. So my dad's been running it for the last 50 or so years.
Wow. Okay. So your great uncle was a chemist?
Great great uncle.
Great uncle. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
a chemist per se? I mean, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And then obviously just continued to teach generations.
Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. Do you have any other siblings? Is there anybody else in your family that is alongside with you on this journey, or is it just you?
I'm the only one involved in the business, but I have a sibling, brother, but that's it. So, but I grew up as an only child, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Cool.
So, what is the biggest mistake? I'm assuming you have made mistakes, and maybe I shouldn't assume. Have there
Yeah.
been any mistakes that you have made, early on that was a huge learning curve that you now kind of understand, oh, I cannot do that again?
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good question. The one that comes to mind is we were thinking about changing this was, I think, about a year ago. We were changing our bottles from, like, we use these round gallons, and everybody was like telling me, like, oh, you got to get square gallons. They're so fancy. They're so cool. And I was like, okay, like, I'll get them. And we started like this whole process of doing that. We ended up getting some. And then we realized it was going to raise the cost of the product
Mhm.
significantly. So we made the decision, even after getting them, we're like, you know what, we don't want to do that to our customers. Like, how much are we really valuing just the look of it? People do care more about the quality, we believed. So we went back on that decision. And that was definitely learning of, like, okay, next time let's plan a little bit better and that type of thing.
Yeah. And I can only imagine, not just the cost of creating the chemical, but like you just said, the labeling, the bottles, right? All of
Yeah.
it, all of
Yeah,
it comes at a cost.
it
Okay.
does.
Yeah. So again, I'm going to come back to the whole being a female owner and also being so young, you know. Um, have people underestimated you in this business thus far because you are a woman? Did anybody have any thoughts because your dad put this business now in your hands? How is being a female in this industry and a young female at that been?
Yeah, honestly, I have had very good experiences with like 99.5 of the people I've worked with. I think the thing I get the most is like people being surprised because they don't expect it.
Yeah,
When I know certain things about the chemistry or whatever it is, or like the business, they're like, "Oh wait, like I'm surprised you know about that." I'm assuming probably because I'm female. But also I think the age is part of it too. They're like, "Oh wait, you're so young. Like that's crazy. Like this is a cool situation that you have." So more
yeah,
surprised than like people thinking it's cool than like actual problems.
yeah. Do you feel ever like you have to prove yourself in this business? Do I don't know, have these standards set that you're like, okay, I've got to do this and this and this in order to, prove that I am worthy of this? Is that something that comes across at all, or do you feel 100% confident and you're good to go?
I think I think the confidence just comes from knowing what I'm doing and like the foundation that I've built with like knowing exactly how everything in the business is working together. So I wouldn't say that I feel what was the word you used? Like not insecure, but like
Well, no, not. I was just talking about proving yourself. Like, do you ever
oh,
feel like
proving
you have to
myself. Yeah.
prove yourself, being that you are
Yeah.
female and young in this industry that, I mean, let's face it, is run by mostly men, you
Yeah.
know?
I think, funny enough, I think that's something I thought about like in the very beginning, like the first year or two, but it was never like it was never something real that actually happened. Like it was anything was in my head and I was like, oh, what if in the future this, what if that? But all of my experience have just been so good.
Yeah, I love that. There are a couple more people I see that are joining the chat. You guys, we are talking to Deanna Wimmer. I've got to make sure I say that correctly. Deanna Wimmer. I got it right, right?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Who has taken over as president of a 95-year-old business, HiLustre Automotive, and we are talking with her about what that has been like. Thank you guys for joining. Those of you that are asking questions, you know how it goes. I have starred them, and we will absolutely get to those questions in a second. We have about 43 people on, and everybody, again, I had told Deanna from the beginning, so many people have messaged me. I have been talking to so many people throughout the last couple of weeks who have been so excited to hear this story. So, yeah, this has been absolutely amazing. So let's talk about leadership now. You went from being the founder's daughter to now being president, which is quite a shift. What was the moment where you realized, oh my gosh, like I am running a 95-year-old company?
Yeah.
When did that dawn on you?
So the setup that me and my dad had originally, like those first few years, I was still living with my parents at the time. So I would drive, and we live in Orange County, so we would drive from Orange County to East LA where the business is. So it's quite a long drive every
Mhm.
day. So I would drive me and my dad up there, and we would work together the whole day. And eventually, there were certain days where I didn't need help or there wasn't really anything for him to do there. So he was like, cool, like I can just stay at home. Like I don't need to come in. And I was like, sure. So we started having more and more days like that until eventually like it would be weeks where he wouldn't be coming in because there was nothing for him to do. I was just handling everything.
That's amazing. What has the transition been like for him? Because I mean, again, you said he has been running this company for 50 years.
Yeah.
That's quite a run. How is he feeling? I mean, I'm sure he is just thrilled that he was able to put this in your hands, but how is he doing now that he is on the sidelines?
He is very happy, both that I've taken over, but also to be on the sidelines because it's a lot of energy that you have to put
Yeah.
into something like this. And we were talking last night about it, and he's like, you know what, I'm just so grateful that you are doing
Oh,
this. And he's very happy that I am interested in doing this too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
And just to make it clear, he still is the CEO, if you will.
Mhm.
So you are the president. So how does that work? Are you having to run things by him? Is he like your sounding board when you're making decisions? Are you making decisions completely on your own? Or, how much does your dad still have in terms of involvement with what
Yeah.
goes on in the day-to-day operations?
Yeah. So I would say a big thing that I've been doing is a lot of like technology and software stuff that I maybe have a little bit more experience in that type
Mhm.
of thing than him. So he kind of lets me take the reins with all the updates on that front. And so I get kind of free reign with that. And there's a lot of just day to day decisions that aren't, major, but anything major or like that have to do with the business or anything I really want to talk to with him at all. I talk to him like 10 times a day. He's calling me,
Yeah,
I'm calling him. So we're
love
in
that.
constant communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You touched on technology. I bet that is a huge factor now because obviously technology looks a lot different today than it did 50 years ago. So, how have you been able to kind of enhance your business using technology?
Yeah. Oh, this is a great one. So, in our office, we had, I guess it would be 6 foot tall file cabinets that are like 3 or 4 foot deep, full of papers. So, like every supplier, every customer, like all this printed stuff from the computer. So, that was actually one of the first major things that I did was like scanning a bunch of stuff and putting it
Oh my
digitally.
goodness.
So I got rid of I think 4 or 5 of those like file cabinets, and these are like 5 drawers each, so probably like 20, 30 cabinets worth of like stuff.
Okay, wait a minute. So, you're telling me that you single handedly scanned 95 years worth of documentation? Like,
On
what?
Yeah.
What?
So I did have some help with it. I had like 1 or 2 people helping me with the project, but essentially, yes, not all of it was from 95 years. I would say it's more since computers were around, so maybe the last 20, but still a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you ever or did you ever go through some of those files and just kind of reminisce on what the company used to be and how ledgers and things used to look compared to now? What was that like in terms
Yeah.
of, what you're used to as opposed to how things were done back then?
That part of it is so cool because obviously because it's a family business. So my grandmother was actually working in the business too with my grandfather. So it was really cool to like go in and see like her handwriting on certain paperwork. And I'm like, oh my God, like she touched this because they both passed
Oh,
away before I met them. So I'm like, I feel like I have a piece of them with me, by
yeah,
doing the business.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
some of that stuff could probably be like, what is it, museum status, right? Do you have anything like in a glass, like, case where you have it up in your office? Because I know I would, but I'm nostalgic like that. I don't know.
I do actually. There's I don't even know what material it is, but whatever one of the first like microfiber towels were, I don't think it's microfiber. It must have been cotton, but we called it the luster duster. And so I have those in like a little case in the office because it has like all the graphics printed on, which were done in whatever old school way was at the time. I think probably even before like screen printing. But and I have like a lot of like original artwork that was done
Oh,
from like not even I see I don't even know the name for it, what type of art it is, but it's like essentially the originals of like certain things that were then
wow.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are probably things that were like, put into newspapers, I'm
Yeah,
guessing, maybe, right?
probably, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, let's kind of continue with the technology thing because social media is now a thing. How
Mhm.
have you been able to use social media to evolve your business, or have you? Was your dad into the whole social media aspect, or have you kind of taken that and run with it. What is the social media like for you now? Because obviously you're younger. Again, technology is different. We have all of these, ways that we can promote our business. So how has that been, different for HiLustre?
So we did not do, besides going to the SEMA show, because we had been going for I think like 20 or so years since
Oh,
2000-ish.
wow.
But aside from that, we did zero marketing, zero like salespeople. It was literally all word of mouth. So we had
Wow.
nothing. So when I came in, I was like, how are we even like, still, this is crazy that we're still around and we haven't even like done anything to tell people that we exist. So that's something that I've really tried to focus some time on the last year or two, mainly the last year, but is starting to post on social media, and like Instagram has been great, so great with connecting with new people. I think you DM'd us on Instagram.
I
um,
did.
Instagram specifically for detailing is like the place, so we've had so much new connections from there, and it's been so good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That kind of blows my mind, but I'm guessing that really speaks to, the validity of your business, because 95 years and social media is just now becoming a thing, and your company has been able to be successful in that
Yeah.
amount of time. That's pretty incredible. That speaks
Yeah.
highly, then I'm guessing, of your chemicals, your customer service. That's pretty special.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really cool
Absolutely.
because a lot of our business over the years has been mainly, well, in the 80s, it was a lot of people in vans that would then deliver to all the shops and stuff. And that's changed a lot with detail stores and a lot of online stuff coming out. So our
Yeah.
main business has always been like distributors. We didn't really, I guess, sell a lot of like our own products through our own channels, or also like go out and try to find new distributors. It was always like the same business, like, just coming back, fulfilling the orders for their customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking of, you've been in the same building for that many years. I mean, obviously, you
Yeah.
said your great great uncle began in his
Correct.
garage.
Mhm.
Is this then the same building that you have had since the beginning, or have you changed locations?
I think there might have been another building in between, but I believe this one we've been at since the 50s, if I am correct. I could be,
Wow.
yeah.
So, have you come in and done any redecorating? I'm thinking about a building that has been, there since the 50s. Are you thinking of a remodel?
I have plans. I have not done anything yet, but I have plans. I will say that.
And is dad okay with these plans? Is he on
He
board?
doesn't he doesn't know about them.
Oh, well, he does
Sorry.
now. He
Yeah.
does now.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, let's go ahead and get to some of the questions. Let's see here. Let's start from the top. Keep dropping your questions, guys. Let's start with Dawn, Detail Obsessed Nation. What is your favorite HiLustre product and why?
Ooh. My favorite product is the Nano Carnauba spray wax. That one, my dad formulated. It had to have been 15 or so years ago, but it's just a really good Carnauba spray wax. You can use it on the paint, the glass, metal, and you can actually clay with it too, and use it when the car is slightly wet after a wash. So that's actually the one where he was like showing us the different labels after he had formulated it, like I was saying before. So I was, somewhat involved with that one, and that one's my favorite.
That's exciting. Okay, so before we move on with the questions, let me ask you this. Have you yourself always been into cars? Have you ever done any type of detailing? Do you use these products as well as are kind of learning about them? What is that whole aspect like for you?
So I did wash our like personal cars in our driveway with my dad when I was like really young. But when I started in the business, I quickly realized that I didn't really know anything about detailing. So I searched for some place to go to learn about it, because I obviously couldn't become a detailer because I had to run the business. But I ended up finding the detailing class at Cypress College over
Okay.
here in Southern California. The instructor's name is Bobby Tamaris, and he has his own professional detailing company, and he taught this class, and I did both semesters of it, the beginner and then the advanced section. And I think it was even free because it was part of my like California free community college thing. But I got so much from that class, and I
Oh,
learned pretty much everything that I know now about detailing. And obviously it's expanded from there, but that was like the true beginnings of like, oh my god, I don't know anything about detailing, to like, okay, I have a really good like handle on everything
yeah.
now.
Okay, so classes at colleges, I didn't even realize that was a thing for detailing. So that's kind of cool. Were there a lot of people in your, taking these classes with you?
I think there was about 15 people when I took the class, but it's
Wow.
kind of blew up since then. So there's like 25 in there now, and they can't expand it anymore because of the limits of the college. But the Cypress College, they have a whole automotive department
That
where they
is so
do like
cool.
mechanics and all this other stuff. So it's a great program.
Wow, that is super interesting. Very cool. I love that. We have Ricardo asking, did you ever feel obligated to take over the business? And did that create some resentment on your part sometimes, as far as possibly wanting to pursue your own interests?
Oh, that's a good one. And honestly, no. My dad made it clear from the because he's so aware of how hard it is to run a business. He was always like, "You don't have to do this. Like, I will be okay if you don't want to do this. This is completely your decision. If you ever want to stop doing this, you can." So and even now, like if I wanted to stop, he'd be like, "Okay, cool. Like let's, talk about the plan." So he's always been, and that not having any pressure like that makes me want to do it even more because it is my choice. Like I'm choosing to do this. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that. And you seem, like I said, you seem thrilled to do it. So I'm sure that makes your dad
Yes.
super happy.
It
Uh,
does.
we have Jeff from Improved Garage asking, are you planning on going to SEMA again this year?
Yes, we are. We do have a booth. I think currently we are set to be in the North Hall because I guess they're splitting up the detailing, restyling, and car care accessories, half in the West Hall, half in the North, the way that I understand it. So we will
Okay.
be in the North as of now, but yes, we are going.
That's exciting. And you
Yeah.
said you've been going for since 2000. So you've had a booth since 2000 or?
Yes. So my dad, I think it's been since 2000. So he went for at least like 15 years straight, and then it must have been around 2017 or 2018 he took a little break. So we started up again going last year. So last year was our first year back since 2017, 2018-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's exciting. That
Yeah.
is really exciting. Man, I hope I get to go to SEMA again this year. Definitely was a treat. And I know you did come to the Thor booth
Yes.
last year. I know you got to meet like Adamo and other people. So hopefully you get to stop by the Thor booth again this year.
Yes, I should
Um,
be.
yes, awesome, awesome. Chris is asking, how many employees does HiLustre have? And this is a good question because I was actually going to ask this one myself, Chris. So what does the employees, the structure of your business look like?
Yes, this may be pretty surprising, but it is two and then me currently. So that's it.
Wow.
So we have two guys in the back who do all the production and warehouse and shipping and all of that. And then I am in the office doing pretty much everything else. So currently I have an intern, but other than that, it's just me.
Wow. That is pretty impressive. I actually am very surprised. I did not expect to hear three people total. And now
Yeah.
you said that your mom, is she involved in it at all anymore? Does she come and help out, or is she kind of on the sidelines with your dad?
She helps a lot personally, so I don't know if I'm supposed to share this, but she does
Oh,
all of our laundry, and she's
okay.
very helpful, like, with my personal stuff. She used to, she used to help in the business a while ago, but she's actually a full-time realtor, so she's selling houses and doing that type of stuff, so she's got her own career too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, three people, has it always been that way? I mean, as far as you know, has it always been a very small staff? Did that kind of happen recently or over time or?
Yeah. I think over time. There's been certain periods where we've had more, we've had less, but right now in the place that we're at, it's actually a really good structure that we have, because I'm able to do me having control over everything right now is the place where we need to be so I can personally organize certain things and do certain things. So eventually I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely need to hire someone for like
Yeah.
this, and this. But at the moment, it's very nice to be completely hands-on with everything, and then see how I like it done, and then I can get someone else for it.
Well, then that makes sense. You have really kind of just come into the business, so it makes sense to kind of want to get a handle on everything, knowing how everything kind of operates before you put it in someone else's hands. I mean, that actually makes perfect sense. But you
I
said
have a lot of
you
plans.
yes,
I have plans to hire people.
I love that. And you just said you have an intern. So obviously this person you are eventually going to put into a paying position.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
guessing.
it's actually a summer internship. So the high school that I went to, they had this internship program, which I was a part of. So the coordinator there sent me this girl, and she's actually making some stickers for us for SEMA. So some fun stickers to hand out, because she's more in like the art space. So it's just a summer thing, but.
Oh, okay. Well, how exciting. That is
Yeah.
really cool that you have, ties with the schools. I'm not sure if you know, but I am a teacher. So anytime I
Oh,
hear things like that, that makes me happy.
yeah.
I love
It
that. That's
is cool.
amazing. Yeah. How do you view HiLustre now? Do you view it still as a passion, or is it purely kind of business professional?
Ooh. Definitely half and half, because it's obviously my career and what I'm seeing myself doing for probably the rest of my life, unless my opinion changes. But I think the passion has to be there day to day to like wanna do certain things. So it's definitely like, I think they both like bounce off each other. It's definitely both.
Yeah. Adamo says that your personal touch shows. It seems like maybe he ordered something and you sent a personal note. Is that something you do with every shipment or just some shipments? If there's
With
just
some
Adamo?
shipments. Yeah. No, that's good. I do it as much as I can. So I love like including a little note, and like sometimes throwing in like a free little sample, especially like when people call and order over the phone. I'm like, oh my God, this person was so nice. Like I want to like do a little extra for them. So I definitely do that when I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, going back to the fact that your business is almost 100 years old, are a lot of your clientele, if you will, people that have been around for years? Do you get a lot of new traffic? What does that look like?
Yeah, a lot of our business is that older, like they've been buying from us for 20 years, 30 years, some of them. Um, and actually this is kind of sad, but recently like some of our customers has passed,
Oh,
and it's like to have a business that old to where the only reason that somebody stops buying from you is because they pass away. It's like it's so
wow.
bittersweet.
Yeah.
But other than that, the Instagram has just been so great with introducing new traffic to people, understanding who we are and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Becca has a good question. I know we've kind of touched on it, and I don't know how much you're willing to share, if you're willing to share anything, but Becca's asking, how have you put your own stamp on the company thus far, or maybe plan to? Is there anything you can share in terms of how you plan on making the company your own, or what you've done so far to do so?
Something made well two things that I can think off the top of my head is I did our whole website. So it was a long journey to get to where we are with the website, but it's on Shopify, so nothing fancy, but it just has everything beautifully laid out. Like we have reviews on there. So that was something that I spent a lot of time working on and just getting up. And I'm excited to expand on that even more and have even better product pages with even more information about the products. I know there's so many questions that people have, so I plan on making tons of resources for people to learn about our products and read information and all of that. And then the other thing is that new labels came out this year. So I created a new label design that was like a little bit more modern, and that was definitely my touch. I had to fight with my dad a little bit on that. But that was another major thing that I did.
I love that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. What is your protocol for R&D? How do you decide what characteristics you want from a product and how you're going to prioritize those characteristics?
Ooh, that's a good question. So we have our lab, so we have our at one of our buildings, we have our office, and then we have our lab, and then that's the production room in the back of that, and then some warehousing of finished product. So we have everything under the same roof, which is really helpful when it comes to like choosing chemicals, testing things out. We can do a very fast process. So I have a few products that I'm working on right now, formulating. Hopefully, going to get them done before SEMA, but it's a pre wash and then it's also a wheel cleaner. And the process for those so far was just kind of like getting feedback from different people that are interested in those products and seeing, like, okay, what is important to the customer? And then deciding from there, like bringing that into the formulation based on what we know what the chemicals do.
Okay. Awesome. So with these new formulations, I mean, obviously you're learning the chemistry. How are you creating these new products? Do you have help? Are you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
again, being new on the chemistry side, how are you kind of tackling even the idea of creating new products, having to find, and understand the way that these raws and different materials work together?
Yeah. I part of a big part of what I've done the last 6 years is learning about our formulations, our current formulations, and understanding what the breakdown of chemistry between each of them is. So I can go, okay, like we have this product. If I wanted to make it do this, if I took this out, it would do this. So I've been building that understanding over time. And actually, my first project formulating something all by myself was Blue Crush we did with Rob talking with cars. So I
Yeah.
actually formulated that all by myself and he did the testing, but I didn't have any help with that. So that was just based off of all of my research of all of our internal stuff. So that was
Wow.
really fun.
How exciting was that when finally put your final stamp and it was a full send, you're sending it to Rob? What did that feel like? Because
Yeah.
that must have
Well,
felt.
it was the first time we did anything like that, like a collab product, so I was kinda nervous. I was like, "Oh, I wonder if people are gonna, like, buy it," and, all that stuff, but it did really well, and, I think people enjoyed it. We have, like, a version 2 we're gonna do at some point this year, based on, like, some feedback, but the response and it brought us to a lot of new people, like, I think Adamo and, yeah, a lot of people that came to us because of it. So it's been great to like build those new connections from it as well.
That is great. Yeah, Adamo says that first formulation was a hit. B. Riley saying Blue Crush is awesome. A lot of people in your corner on that.
Oh
Jason,
my
great job
gosh.
on Blue Crush. It was exciting to try the different versions. So that is pretty awesome. I love that. I told you people are in your corner.
I know. It's so nice because genuinely I spent the first like 5 years not really on social media or like talking to really anybody new in the industry. So I was kind of alone in my little office and very disconnected from the whole world of like people. And then once I started posting, like all these new connections and people opened up. So that's been like by far, it brings me so much joy to like be connected with more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I love that. David is asking, and I think you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but has HiLustre seen a pickup in business since getting involved with Rob from Talking with Cars and the Thor community been taking up your line, or I'm sorry, been talking up your line, excuse me.
Yeah.
Have you seen a surge?
Yeah, I think everything just kind of happened at once. So a lot of the posts on social media have done really well, and then we had the soap, and then there's been all of these things that have like the last few months have just been so cool, and so many things have happened from like social media as a whole, and the soap, and like the posts. So it's all been so great.
That's amazing. Um, Mango is asking, what made you guys put a Nissan 350Z on your product label?
Oh God, that is a question for my dad. He had a 350Z growing up, so this is actually a funny story because I grew up with them like, okay, first of all, it's this bright orange, like Pearl 350Z. They would drive me to school with it in the morning. So at drop off, I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Oh, you didn't think that was the coolest car ever?
love and hate relationship. Just the bright orange at school drop off it's a vibe for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But so that was his car and he brought it to SEMA. So I guess somehow it was incorporated in the labels, but we did indeed take it off with these new labels because it was time for a little something fresh.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Showing up in the bright orange ride. Everybody saw you coming. What did your friends think about? I'm sure you had friends that were also around. Did they think like, wow, this is kind of a cool thing? How do your friends feel about it now? Are they super supportive?
Yeah, I have some really close friends that actually I met through gymnastics. So I just have this great bond with them, and all of them, they're like into their own things too. So, like, one of them's a physical therapist, that's Paige, and she's like so into that, and I'm so into my thing, and they're completely different, but it's so nice to be able to like share about
Yeah.
what we're doing completely different things, even though we had like a common interest at one point, which was gymnastics.
Yeah.
So having those friendships is just so nice.
That's very awesome. Jason says, coming from a second generation business, congratulations on keeping it going and growing.
Yes, that's so nice.
Yes. Let's see. Fernando's asking, if you were trying to get to free shipping, what would be your HiLustre product list? Asking for a friend.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. For sure the our wash and shine soap is really good too. So it's a pH neutral thick soap. That's like heavy hitter for sure. We have our all-purpose cleaner. So general all-purpose cleaner, you can use it on the tires. You can use it on the interior, just different dilutions. The Nano Carnauba spray wax, like I was mentioning. Um, what else? I really like our foaming fabric cleaner, the aerosol can. That one's really good as well. And then we have a ton of interior fragrances. So we have 8 different options. My personal favorite is the jasmine because it smells like flowers, but pick whatever fragrance that you like.
Yeah. I love that. Ivan and Sylvie from DIY Detail says this is excellent. Not many brands have the luxury of a family transition. So
Yeah, that's so true.
It is. It is. That is very awesome. I know. I keep thinking, I'm so old school. So when you were talking about, the file cabinets full of paper, I would get lost in something like that. You know what I mean? Just looking at, what would now be considered like antique, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about, the computer systems and things like that. Has that been something that has had to have a major shift in your time? Have you kind of crossed over to different platforms now that technology is greater? I'm assuming the answer is absolutely yes.
Yes. And that's been such an interesting process because there's been certain softwares where I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm so excited to use this. And then it doesn't work for like our specific systems and our things.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang it. But then I figure it out and there's a different one. So we have a lot of them now where I'm like, oh my God, I love all of these things that I've set up because I've definitely set up like an array of a lot of different technology. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. So much to play with, though. I think that's kind of cool about, the times we're in now is you have so many different options, so many different kind of avenues that you can kind of go down and kind of try out. I think that's a cool part of it.
Yeah.
Question: what is a business metric you pay attention to that most owners ignore?
Oh, I've never been asked that before. I have to think about that for a
Question.
second.
Yeah.
A business metric. I guess most people wouldn't ignore this, but it would be my answer is just I personally love getting messages on because we get email things coming in through our forms and we get our Instagram DMs and then I get a lot of texts of people that have my number through my business card. So I just get all of this communication And that's something that I really like, being able to
Mm,
have like the personal connection with people rather than handing that off to an assistant and having them give the basic answers. So I guess I don't pay attention to the metrics with that, but I really like the feeling of talking to people and getting to know like
yeah.
the end customers essentially.
Yeah. And to
Yeah.
be honest with you, I do agree that that's something that, a lot of owners do ignore, that personal connection where you really know your customers, you are personally responding to emails, to problems, to questions.
Mhm.
Um, I think that is super important. So, yeah, that's a great answer.
Cool.
David is asking, is your chemist outsourced or one of the two guys in the back?
So we have my dad, I would say, is the head of it all. So he just has so much context around everything because he actually used to be the one in the back making stuff and while running the office at one point. So the business has gone through so many seasons with that, but he has so much knowledge that I'm like constantly like calling him and being like, hey, there's this thing.
Yeah.
But we have chemists that we work with that are outsourced as well. So not necessarily outsourced, but we have friends in the chemistry worlds that we can go to when there's something that we don't know like offhand through like all of our internal files. But yeah, that's kind of the situation.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Um, People are asking, rinse list is a huge deal right now, and I don't think you have a rinse list. Is that something that you are thinking about?
I have a long list of products that people ask for, and I can add that for sure. I am always willing to take product suggestions, and if there is a demand for it, I am more than willing to create the product for it. More than willing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have a lot of people rooting for a rinse list.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing these days. So did you guys hear that? She'll put it on the list. Will Blue Crush be a permanent product?
Oh, we are not sure yet. Like I said, it's our first time doing anything like this of the sort. So we've always only had, the HiLustre brand, and that's obviously still part of the HiLustre brand. For now, it's a limited edition run. That may change, it may not, which is kind of up in the air, and we're just gonna see
Mm,
how it does. And yeah, it's kind of like a fun thing to test out because there's been so many, at least from my like interests, like in the beauty world, like so many influencers will do collabs with these brands, and it's just like a cool thing to have and to see like how that collaboration goes. So it was something I was personally interested in kind of testing out.
I love
Yeah.
that. Let's see. Last question. If you were starting HiLustre from scratch today with limited capital,
Mm.
what would your first 90 days look like? Whew, that's a question.
Wow. Okay.
If you were starting this business today, would it
Yeah.
look any different?
If I was gonna start truly, I don't think you could start this the same. It would have to look different because the amount of it would just have to be such a small scale. Maybe you have like one mixing tank or something like that, and you start out with like a couple products. But we have, I think, 30-ish products that we do under our label, and we have many mixing tanks and so many drums and powders of different chemicals. So the amount of capital required to have that in inventory, it's a lot. So I wouldn't even know where to begin if I was starting from scratch.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't either. So,
Yeah.
that was a good answer. But you're right. I mean, it would absolutely look much different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I couldn't even imagine starting a business like this day and age. I think it's truly a blessing that you are able to take over a business, that has already been substantially kind of, put into place for so many years, because now it just takes the involvement. Which to me, hearing you, I just know that you guys are going to continue. So that kind of brings me, we're almost to an hour, you guys. And just so you know, Adamo would like to do a giveaway of a gallon of Blue Crush.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
So what we will do, um, I know we always have, people upset about the whole chat, to doing it in the chat, asking a question, So, what we're going to do is we're going to do the comment thing. So, at the end of this, I'm going to ask a few more questions. At the end of this, I will just have you guys leave a comment after the live is done, and then I will spin the wheel for a gallon of Blue Crush. So, exciting. So tell me, what do you have envisioned? What does this company look like in the next 10, 20 years? Where do you see it going?
I see so many more products, hopefully including a rinse list for all you guys. But there's so many products that I want to create personally, because our line has just been so it's the stuff we've had for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, some of them. I get literally people walking into the office being had they have a gallon of our all-purpose cleaner and they're like, "Hey, I just ran out of this." And it's like the label we had 20 years ago and I'm like
Just now?
yeah, but there's so many new, so much new chemistry out there and new products that I want to play around with, and there's definitely a lot more education around detailing that I want to do and have fun with. Teaching people how to use our products more, whether that's more stuff online or like in-person classes. So a lot of different stuff there.
Yeah. What is the best piece of advice your father has given you?
Ooh. He would always tell me to just do the right thing. And if you do that, you can go to sleep at night and be happy with yourself and what you've done. So that's been the number one thing that he's always said.
I love that. What is a piece of advice you can give to a future entrepreneur who would like to run a business, and even a female at that?
Yeah. I think just being open to learning and having that desire to learn, that is what's gotten me through everything and all
Yeah.
the challenges that running a business brings. Just being able to see a problem and be like, okay, how do I fix this? Or what could different solutions look like here? And being like trusting yourself to figure it out. That learning part of it is just a must for sure.
Absolutely. We do have another question here from Keith. He says, "Do you think it helped being a girl working with your dad versus a boy growing up around the company, maybe not butting heads as often, being more willing to meet in the middle? How do you feel about that?"
Yeah, so I will not sugarcoat it. My dad and I, at the beginning, we butt heads a lot. He had a certain teaching style, and I had a certain way that I liked to learn. So over the years, he's been able to give up some of that control, and I've been able to give up some of my like resistance and like being his daughter. Because at the end of the day, like it is like us working together as a family, but really I just had to see him more of that teacher and less like, oh my God, my dad's telling me what to do, you
Mm,
know? So it's
yeah,
been a lot
yeah,
of growth on my part to recognize that and less resistance there, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
Which it makes sense, because they say not to mix, business with pleasure. So I could imagine the difficulties at times looking at your dad as your dad, but then also looking at him as the CEO of the company, and then having to kind of find that fine line and balance between the two.
Yeah.
But you guys sound like you have a great relationship. And maybe if you ever butt heads, it's probably because you're a lot alike, is my assumption. Would you say that's true?
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of the time, like something will happen and I'll be like, oh, this happened, like I'm gonna do this. And he's like, cool, that's exactly what I would have done. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense. You taught me.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeff is asking, is there any, or are there any old school materials that you have a stash of that you can't get anymore?
Two things that come to mind. Actually, I guess it's more one thing, but so many chemicals over the years get discontinued, which means we have to reformulate certain products and all of that. So I think I have anything that's gotten discontinued and we've had to change a formula on a specific product. I normally keep like one bottle of it. So there's like a tiny little stash of like, more original formulations, but we always try to find the best replacement, and we always end up like pretty much exactly at what the product used to be. But that discontinuing chemicals is like a constant thing happening that we always kind of have to be proactive about.
Yeah. Jeff made a comment that's kind of funny, talking about fighting with your boss and then you go home and he's sitting on the couch.
Yeah. Well, and then you drive like an hour from the business to home after. Yeah. So you're like, oh my God.
I was sitting in the car. You could cut the tension with a knife, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see. Another question. Is there a ceramic coating on the horizon?
Yeah. So we've been talking about doing a like little glass bottle ceramic coating, a true ceramic. We do have a ceramic spray coating that's similar application to the Nano Carnauba spray wax, but it's a little bit harder. So when you spray it on, you have to be a little bit quicker with it because it does harden pretty fast, which is great for the product, obviously, because it works really well. But we have been talking about adding another actual ceramic down the line, not currently, but down the line.
Cool. And I know you touched on this earlier, but the question, if you want to just kind of reiterate, what does product testing look like for you?
Yeah, so we have, a handful of people that, whether it's the people who are recommending that we come out with a certain product, or sometimes I'll post and be like, hey, I need someone to like test this for me. But we have a group of people that we will send stuff to, get their feedback, and make adjustments on formulations from there.
Yeah. Very cool. So you guys, I think I have touched on all of the questions. I have to tell you, I have thoroughly enjoyed listening to your story. You are like a breath of fresh air to me. You really are. And I really feel like you are going to take this business to a whole new level. And I know that your great great uncle Doc, is looking down on you pretty dang proud right now. Oh wait, we have one more question. Regulations in California for chemicals is a little bit more stringent than the rest of the country. That is true. You find that being a California business, do you find that it limits you to make any kind of or further innovations, basically?
That's a good question. I would say it's definitely, yes, it is a lot more stringent. So I just see it as that's what we're working with, and we're going to meet whatever requirements we have to meet, and whatever comes from that comes from that. So I don't see it as like a good or bad thing. I just see it as like we have certain constraints as a business. That's one of them. And we are, going to do as best as we can, which is pretty good most of the time.
Yeah. Chris is asking, any chance of selling your stuff at the House of Rags? I'm not sure. I'm sure she would be open to the conversation though, right?
Yes.
He says, the lesson I take away from tonight is the kids are all right.
The kids are indeed all right.
Absolutely. Indeed. All right, you guys. So that is the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming on with me tonight. I know this was your first podcast. Hopefully, you felt comfortable throughout. I thought you did an amazing job. And again, so excited to talk to you, as I'm sure everybody else who sees this will be as well. Do not forget, again, you guys, Garage Therapy, 20% off, Whitewater Seal, now available at the House of Rags. Kristen will save you some change. Please leave a comment after this live ends for a chance to win a gallon of Blue Crush, which is a Domo's giveaway. So again, leave a message. I'm sorry. Well, I guess it's a message. Leave a comment in the chat. And thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Deanna. And I will catch you guys on the next one.
Thank you. Bye.